Speaking to Michael Jones, former speechwriter for George Bush. He's in Philadelphia right now. What are your memories of Barbara Bush?
Her legacy is this extraordinary family that she was surrounded by until the very end, and the impact she had, obviously, on her husband, who was really the only relationship that she had in her life. I think she used to joke, as I recall, that he was the first man she kissed, and 7-decade-plus marriage with him, and then obviously 5 extraordinarily successful children, 2 of whom I think are well known to the world, and 3 of whom are less known but are equally successful in their own right. Less known is the fact that they lost a child to leukemia at the age of 3. It was very emotionally devastating, understandably so, to her, and she spoke about that in very moving terms. She was an unpretentious woman, I think, for someone that was First Lady of the country. She defended herself for wearing fake pearls. She loved her Springer Spaniel that she actually included in her official portrait, as I recall. And she championed this idea of literacy, which I think all of us sort of subconsciously knew was an important issue, but honestly, it didn't really have a whole lot of people out front that were really speaking to it at the time. And it was a moment when the United States was trying to continue to focus on the importance of reading and learning, and she brought a great deal of attention to that issue at a critical moment, just like her predecessor Nancy Reagan did to the war on drugs and to saying no to drugs in the administration before her.
Yeah, and we've been reporting in her early years ago she spoke out against segregation and backed a more liberal view on abortion rights. Quite apart from the causes she fought in her own right, of course, there were enormous events swirling around her, weren't they? The first Iraq War, the Iran-Contra scandal.
Yeah, I think the extraordinary pressure of the presidency requires a spouse that is equally strong. And she certainly was that for George Bush. And importantly, forgotten to some, is the fact that George Bush didn't enter public life as vice president. He had a great career in equally important jobs before that. He was a member of Congress. He was our ambassador to China. He ran the CIA and the RNC. He was our ambassador to the United Nations for a period of time. So really over multiple decades, he held some of the highest positions in American public life, and she was right by his side throughout all of that.
You have personal memories of her?
Well, I think ultimately it was one of her warmth and caring and her authenticity. And sadly, inside the Washington Beltway, authenticity is sometimes missing, but this was a real woman who came as advertised, and she was strong, but she never really sort of lost her core values and focus, and was an intriguing woman, off the beaten path in some ways. I mean, I think I can recall that even though she attended one of the more elite colleges of the United States, Smith College in Massachusetts, she actually took a job in a factory over the summer, and some of her family were sort of questioning that, but she was a woman who felt comfortable really around anyone and everyone. And she obviously brushed shoulders with some of the most powerful people of the world of that generation, but also with, everyday Americans routinely in the very important job of First Lady.
Michael Jones, thank you so much for sharing all that with us.